Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Orthodox Bench with Boyna. I'm the Boyna in question, and I wanted to discuss some recent tragedies that occurred here in the Balkans area. If you're following this channel or following the news from this part of the world, you probably know about that canopy collapse in a railway station here in Serbia. 15 people died, 2 are grievously injured with both of their legs amputated, and the government is, as usual, playing dumb, not acting as this wasn't a case of corruption, because the reconstruction of this railway station was rushed. It was done by people who have no idea how statics work, all of which has led ultimately to this canopy collapsing and killing people. However, we've had a really dark period here in the Balkans where so many tragedies happened in such a short span of time. On December the 20th, a 19-year-old man entered an elementary school in Zagreb, in the capital of Croatia, and he managed to kill a 7-year-old child, wound 4 more children and their teacher. Sadly, this man has had a history of mental health issues. And what's the saddest part is his family really tried hard to have them committed. However, the medical experts thought it otherwise, and he simply went to his former elementary school and did what he did. As horrible and tragic as it is, I'm still thankful that there haven't been more kids killed there, because last year in Serbia we had probably our first school shooting where a 13-year-old kid has killed, I can't even remember how many people now. Was it 7, 8? All of whom, except one, were his schoolmates. The other was a school guard. Somebody who he saw and greeted every day. The next thing was in Serbian town of Arilje. A man who worked in a cafe killed the 2 owners of the cafe. At least for now, no motive is listed. And from what I could see in the papers, and again, a lot of this is, hearsay, the 2 owners who were married, they felt pity for him and hired him, employed him, because he was a single father of 3 children. So who knows what transpired in his mind. Then in Montenegro, on the 1st of January, there was a massacre where a man in a town of Cetinje, after a brawl in a bar, killed 13 people, 2 of whom were boys aged 8 and 13. From what I could again gather, he was mentally unwell, not in the sense of he's capable of doing it, but everybody knew that he was a very difficult person, and he simply did that. Last year there was also a massacre at Cetinje, and Cetinje is a town of, I don't know, 200 inhabitants. It's a small city. It's a small town. So what happened that you have this small town with a famous monastery that made these 2 people simply cause such grievous massacres is beyond me. In the first massacre, the year prior, the man was actually, the perpetrator was actually killed by a local criminal who was, well, as irony would have it, he was armed, and he killed him before he could kill anybody else. And I will quote a priest I know. He said that part of us not judging people is that these criminal types, as bad as they are, sometimes they have enough bravery to do things that us nice, kindly Christians simply aren't able to do. They might take out a man who's, shooting people. They might jump in water and save a drowning child. We don't know. We ultimately don't know what's in each person's heart. And finally, in a local town of Jagodina, again here in Serbia, a man killed two people, and he was on the run. One of my friends was actually, this happened on January the 6th, so it was Christmas Eve. She was in Jagodina at the time, and I saw on Twitter that people are literally barricading themselves in houses, and I've sent a message to her like, hey, are you okay? And she said, yes, we've barricaded ourselves in the house and turned off the lights. So yeah, there is a Christmas Eve celebration for you. He was taken out by the Serbian police, luckily. So yeah, I've always considered Balkans to be a relatively safe place, in the sense of, listen, I know that some of you are like, yeah, right. Yes, we've had history of wars, but for the most part, when you're outside, you won't be robbed or killed. You can be like pickpocketed or something, but generally the danger comes from people in the Balkans. The odds of you actually being like assaulted or killed is next to non-existent. I mean, even with these cases, there was always some sort of connection between the victims and the murderer. It wasn't sort of this random spree, even though what I initially heard of Jagodina, that it was a spree, but later on it turned out that, again, this followed a brawl at a bar, which seems to be a serious trigger for people around here, which, let me translate it for you, they were seriously drunk, And there's always that, he looked at me and, unfinished businesses, and you end with people dead. And that case in Croatia is a bit of an outlier because the man was seriously deranged. So yeah, I remember that John Tepajot said in one of his previous videos, maybe it was a year ago, expect for the world to be really enchanted in the coming time, for better or worse, I know. I honestly feel that it's getting for the worse, but there are some like really good news going around. I mean, they don't really outweigh the bad, at least here in Serbia, that we have these protests against this horrible dictator of a man. And these are the protests that are sticking, as opposed to all of others that we've had and have failed. So it gives me some of this little secular hope. And if there was no that kind of hope, I always have like the eternal hope of Christ, that this place here, this isn't it. But yeah, I just wanted to share something that's been on my mind. So sorry if this wasn't the happy-go-lucky video you might have expected of this channel. Bye.